What's up, everybody? It's WildShotX coming at you with another gameplay video, and also this video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to give you my rant on the Walking Dead season finale. If you follow me on Twitter at WildShotX. You know that I am a huge Walking Dead fan. I live tweet during every new episode of The Walking Dead, and I've been following The Walking Dead. I used to read the comics. I've been reading them since the beginning. I just recently got back into the comics. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. Yeah, there's a few things I wanted to talk about in the season finale. There's a lot of significant things that happened in the season finale, not the least of which is Negan, but we'll get to him in a minute. So, the episode was 90 minutes long. I love that. I love when they do longer episodes. I wish every episode was 90 minutes long because they have a lot of material to cover, and it's such a well-written show. But I am a little unhappy with this episode. I did tweet out that I felt cheated by this episode, and I'll get to that in a minute. So some significant things that happened, and this rant is mostly going to be about the last 30 minutes of the episode. So Morgan got his first human kill. If you've been keeping up with the show the whole time, you know that Morgan hasn't killed a person in quite a long time. But we can't say that he's never killed a human being, because in Season 3, the episode called Clear, it's actually pretty clear that he's probably killed some people in that episode. But that's back when he had Crazy Morgan. Now we just have Zen Morgan, and yeah, he's on the no-kill train of thought, which he thankfully changed this episode. He killed a bad guy to rescue Carol, which he genuinely should have. There was nothing he could have done other than kill that guy. I mean, maybe he could have thrown his staff at him and speared him or something, but that still would have killed him. So, really, Morgan had no choice, and I'm glad he did it. Because I really couldn't. I can't wait for all of the saviors to die. Really, those are some really bad guys, and they are going to get everything they deserve. We see that Daryl is still alive, thankfully. Daryl is one of my favorite characters on the show. He was not, and most of you probably already know, he was not a comic book character. He's just a character they made up for the show, and they kept him around, and he's got really popular. And I think he's one of the best characters on the show. So yeah, he is still alive because they left it at kind of a cliffhanger on the last episode, but not really, because they showed Dwight shooting Glenn in the back, and then he says, "Yeah, you'll be all right." So from that you figure, yeah, he's probably gonna be all right. I don't know why they did it like that, but there you go. The Kingdom was probably introduced. So the guys that rescue Carol and Morgan after Carol's been hurt bad, those guys were probably from the Kingdom. The Kingdom, if you read the comics or keep up with it, you know that the Kingdom is this group of people that are another group of survivors that are near the hilltop, but they are really, really funny. They take medieval fairs very seriously, and they're pretty cool. And they have a cool leader. His name is Ezekiel, who has an even better pet. I don't know how they're going to accomplish this, but just trust me when I say I cannot wait to see Ezekiel. So there's that. The Kingdom being introduced is pretty important. Abraham asked Sasha if she wanted to have a kid. This is significant for a couple of reasons. The least of which is that in the comics, both Abraham and Sasha are dead at this point. Abraham has actually been killed at the point where in the series, you see Abraham and Eugene walking down the street to go to the place to find out about making bullets. In the comics, Abraham actually gets killed right there. He gets killed on the street. He gets sniped right in the head. The whole gunfight ensues. The savior's on the train tracks, and Eugene ends up biting somebody on the dick. Abraham asking Sasha if she wants to have a kid is pretty significant, just because it shows both of them growing as characters. And another baby in Alexandria, maybe? I mean, is the world really ready for that? I think after this episode, they may have changed their mind. And then lastly, Eugene finally stepped up and did something pretty brave, which he says he's going to do a lot more of. But at this point, I was 100% convinced that it was going to be Eugene who gets killed. And it still might, but I was sure it was going to be Eugene. I was like, oh, they're setting it up for it to be Eugene. Eugene's given away the recipe for bullets, and he's pretty much sealed his fate as being not important anymore. And even in the comics, he's not a very important character after that point. He's around to make bullets. But his biggest storyline is that he is in love with Rosita, and Rosita wants nothing to do with him. I can't remember if she goes with him or not for any amount of time. If she did, it would only be because she was mad at Abraham. But remember, this is the guy who lied to her and Abraham, telling her that he knew how to save the world. So that's the only thing that they could possibly do with Eugene at this point, unless they just completely made something up and had something totally off the wall for Eugene. is have him try to get with Rosita, which I don't think they're going to do, but maybe they will. You never know. But that's a pretty significant moment for Eugene, is that he stepped up and was brave for a few minutes. So now let's talk about Negan. Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan is awesome. He is just the way he should be as Negan. He is evil, the most evil, vile person you could ever meet, but he's actually charismatic and likable at the same time. That is exactly how Negan's supposed to be. The speech that he gives at the end. I mean, for the last 15 minutes of the show, there's almost I don't think there's anyone else talking except for Negan. And that's as it should be. There's a whole speech from Negan about how he's going to kill someone. What he says is what he does, what he's going to do. In the comics, Rick does tell him a few things, but as we saw in the show, Rick didn't have shit to say, which is a more realistic point of view, I think. There is something interesting that they left out of the speech, and that was initially when he's trying to pick someone to kill, he points out a few people that he doesn't want to kill. He points out Glenn, saying he doesn't want to kill Glenn because he feels like he'd be playing the race card. He doesn't want to kill Michonne for the exact same reason. He doesn't want to kill Carl because he looks at Carl. He says what he says to him in the show. He calls him a serial killer and tells him he should cry, but says his story's too interesting and he's got a lot more to do. So that's why he doesn't want to kill Carl. And then he finally says he doesn't want to kill Rick because he's the leader and that would make him their martyr, and he doesn't want to make martyrs. He's trying to teach them a lesson, to not fuck around with him. In the show, at least, who's in the lineup? So we have Eugene, Carl, Sasha, Daryl, Maggie, Glenn, Rick, Michonne, Abraham, Aaron, and Rosita. Now, I'll tell you, in the comics, there's actually another person there who is not in the lineup, and that is Heath. The last time we saw Heath was when the group attacked the Saviors inside their little satellite dish compound. They killed them all, and then Heath drove off, saying he was going on another run. I don't think we're going to see Heath again, ever. If we do, it'll be with another actor playing him. That actor who was playing Heath in the show was also in Straight Outta Compton. I think he played Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton, and he has been tapped to play the lead in the series reboot of 24, which is coming out sometime next year, I'm sure. So I don't think he's coming back, or at least not that guy as he. So just to put that out there. So let's go through these characters one at a time and talk about it. So Eugene, they totally could kill, and it would not matter. Like I said, the only thing that Eugene has going on for him from now on is that he's trying to get with Rosita, and Rosita wants nothing to do with him. So not very interesting, but maybe, I don't know, because they got to get Rosita something to do now. Okay, Carl. Carl, they could kill. I don't think they will, because, and I hope they won't, because there's actually a really interesting storyline that should be coming up between Negan and Carl, and I would like to see that. So I hope they don't kill Carl, but they totally could, I guess. But I kind of doubt it. Sasha, they could totally kill, and it wouldn't have any effect. Like I said, in the comics, by this time, Sasha is long been dead. She gets killed in the prison. In the true storyline of the comics, Sasha is Tyrese's daughter, and not his sister. And she has her boyfriend with her. Her and her boyfriend, while in the prison, they make a suicide pact, and they try to kill each other, but only Sasha is successful as she kills herself, and her boyfriend does not kill himself. And so Sasha's dead, her boyfriend's alive, and Tyrese is pissed. So that's the way that goes. So Sasha, they could totally get rid of at this point, and it wouldn't make a difference. And I actually feel like they really should, because her and Abraham together is not really believable to me. You can tell these actors, they haven't even, Sadiqo Barton Green and Michael Cudlitz are the actors who play Sasha and Abraham. There's a big age difference between them. They haven't even kissed each other on screen. At least Rick and Michonne have kissed on screen. I think get the feeling from them that they're not really comfortable with the storyline that the writers have picked for them. So there's that. Daryl shouldn't be there anyway, so he could get killed. I think it would cause major fan backlash. I think a lot of the fans would abandon the show. I won't abandon the show. I'm a big Daryl fan. I wouldn't abandon it. I would be really, really mad at the writers. I think it would be really bad for the show if they killed Daryl. By this time, it's become a joke, but it's also become the truth that people will leave the show in droves if they kill Daryl. Maggie, they will totally not kill. She is totally safe. There's a very important storyline with her at the Hilltop coming up, and so they really just can't kill her at all. She is totally safe. Glenn should be the one to die, and I'll tell you more about that later. But at least in the comics, Glenn is the one who dies. He 100% gets killed by Negan. He gets beaten to death with Lucille, dies right in front of the entire group. I think his last word is Maggie. It should be Glenn, and I'll tell you more about that later. Rick, it totally will not be Rick, of course. Rick is the main character of the show. I mean, I know there's a lot of ancillary characters. There's a lot of other important people on the show as well, but it won't be Rick. Just trust me. Rick and Carl are pretty much the only ones who are ever safe on the show. At least I feel. And in the comics, it's the same is true. The Rick and Carl are the only ones who are safe. Yeah, bad things happen to them. Carl gets shot in the face. Rick loses a hand in the comics. They're always safe. They always make it. Okay? Michonne. I really hope they wouldn't kill Michonne because she is such a badass character and is very important to the war that's coming up. I guess they could kill her. I don't think they will. Maybe her death would motivate Rick more to seek vengeance or something. I don't know. I don't know how that would work, but I think it would be a bad idea to kill Michonne. Abraham. Abraham is another what if, because like I said, in the comics, Abraham is already dead at this time, but they could choose this to make it his time and kill him so that they don't kill Glenn or whatever, and give Sasha more motivation to fight. But I don't think they will. I actually like Abraham a lot, but they could totally do it. Aaron. Aaron is a weird one because in the comics, Aaron is alive, but he is not even with the group at this time. He has already gone out and has started to recruit more people for Alexandria. So he's not even a part of this. He's out and about, and I can't even remember if we see him again. But he is another insignificant character who just doesn't do a whole lot afterward. You know, he did his bit. He brought the group to Alexandria, and that was it. That's what he was supposed to do. So it could totally be Aaron that gets killed, and it wouldn't affect the characters. So now, who do I think it will be? I don't know who they are going to make it, but I would tell you who it should be. It should totally be Glenn who gets killed. Now, why do I say that? Glenn is an important character. He's the father of Maggie's baby. He's her husband. But his death is also what motivates the group to do what they got to do to fucking take Negan down and fight back. It does splinter the group. Like Maggie, as we all know, is pregnant. After Glenn dies, she sees no reason to stay with Alexandria anymore. She leaves and goes, at least in the comics, she leaves and goes and lives with the Hilltop. Why? Because she's pregnant. They're a peaceful place. They have an OBGYN, and she's trying to think about her baby. She also becomes the leader of the Hilltop. There's more stuff that goes on with that douchebag Craig, and eventually Maggie becomes their leader. So there's that. And Maggie leaves because she knows there's a war coming and she doesn't want anything to do with it. You know, she's already lost her husband. She doesn't want to lose her baby. So Glenn has to be the one who dies. I think maybe they're doing this to us because of all the backlash they got when they like alluded to Glenn dying. Maybe that was supposed to be foreshadowing or something. But with all the fan backlash that happened, I guess a lot of these people don't know what's supposed to happen, which is good. It makes the story fresh for them. I just want what's supposed to happen because the story I know is already really good and I want to see it on the screen. But it would be really motivating for these people for Glenn to die. And let me tell you why. So Glenn dies, Maggie leaves, she moves to the Hilltop to take care of herself and her baby. And Rick totally bows down to Negan and does exactly what he says, does exactly what he wants, and does everything he's supposed to. Now, I'm not going to tell you why he does that, but he does. He complies 100% and does everything that Negan wants him to do. But like I said, I'm not going to tell you why. I don't want to ruin it totally for you. But yeah, and I tweeted out that I felt cheated by this episode because making us wait until next season while you gauge the fans' reaction as to what possibly could happen is really unfair. Scott Gimple has said that he likes cliffhangers. He wanted a cliffhanger. He said that Robert Kirkman used to end his comic books on cliffhangers, all of which are true. Cliffhangers are good, but this was not a cliffhanger moment. This was totally supposed to be a galvanizing moment for the group, and whoever died was important, and we were supposed to see that. We're not supposed to wait until the next fucking season to see it. something this important happen. So, and while Robert Kirkman did end issues on cliffhangers, this was not a cliffhanger. We totally, and if you read the comics, this happened in the middle of it. There was still the whole rest of the comic to go after he kills Glenn. So this is not the right cliffhanger to do, in my opinion. I feel cheated by this. I feel like I don't know. I don't know what I feel about Scott Gimple. I feel like he got this part wrong. Maybe other people will like it. As a purist and a lover of this show, I don't think it's fair to us, the fans. But, also, I am just a fan, so what do I know? That's my rant on The Walking Dead and how I feel cheated by the finale. I feel like they should have totally showed us who was going to die and showed it and not made us wait until next fucking season to see who's going to die. I don't think it's fair. But let them do what they got to do. They probably know more than me. If you feel differently or you want to talk about your feelings or how you feel about the episode, please comment into the video. I do respond to comments, and I would love to hear what you think about The Walking Dead. If I got anything wrong, hey, tell me. It has been a while since I read these comics, and I did go back and do some research on them before I made this video. And if you could, please subscribe to my channel if you like this video, if you like the gameplay, and you want to see more gameplay, or you just like my rant and want to hear more rants. Hey, I could do those too. But do me a favor and please leave a like, comment, or subscribe on my video, and also follow me on Twitter at WildShotX. The Walking Dead is over, but I will be live tweeting during every episode of Fear the Walking Dead coming up this Sunday. Alright guys, that's all I got for you for now.